morning, everybody.
Good morning.
My message today is titled Creating from Nothing. And I really came about this whole subject because of my last message, which was manifesting heaven here on earth. And I began to think about the spiritual practice of the creative process. And the creative process says this law is based on mind and its operation through thoughts and words. The key to the operation of mind is symbolically set forth in the Genesis account of the 6 days of creation. Man's mind goes through the identical steps in bringing an idea into manifestation. Between the perception of an idea and its manifestation, there are 6 definite positive movements, followed by a 7th day of rest, in which the mind relaxes and sees its work in progress of fulfillment. Now, Charles Fillmore actually wrote this in the text Prosperity. And he wrote that because he was using the idea of the creative process in how to build your prosperity, how to create in your life something from nothing. And so that's where my talk's going to go today. The idea that the creation process from the Bible is that God created out of nothing, that there was a void, if you remember, a void, nothing. Nothing was there. And the thing is, I think we've all felt the void. Don't you agree? I mean, we have all felt like we've had nothing at some point in our life. That's the void. We've also risen out of that void, and we have celebrated the things that we have accomplished from that void, and we have found that the nothingness that we thought we were in was actually abundantly what? Abundantly good. That we found something to take with us and use as a point of treasure, a point that later we can come into creating something good from that point. So my question for you today is, what do you count good? What do you name good? I mean, we could all make a list probably, like I call this my little Santa Claus list, where we write down all the things that are good. Hey, before you come in, Sandy, will you prop that door for me just because it glares off that car? Thank you. Anyway, we could all make this list of items that we call good. But when we start making that list of items we call good, are we including anything besides things? Because I think that's the first thing that pops in our mind is the list of things that we would call good. Oh, my car's good, my house is good. Maybe we go to friends are good, my family's good. We start going into more of things other than material things. But we have to look at the creative process and see this as a form or a plan or a process that we can use to create more good in our lives. It is from Genesis in the Bible that Fillmore defined these steps. And the first one is, let there be light. Let there be light. We have to have that aha moment, that moment where we take a breath and go, wow, wow. Have you ever had that? I think we all have. At some point, maybe even for me, one of the first times I came into a Unity church, I was like, oh, this is where I need to be. This is singing to my soul. It's when your soul is on fire, when something just, maybe that perfect sunset, maybe that moon up in the sky, you just go, ah. Oh. It's that moment of let there be light. Let there be a different thought in my head than those negative thoughts. Let there be something that sings to my soul. It might be singing. It might be sitting in the stillness. Whatever it is, it's that aha moment. And when we have that aha moment is actually attached to that one presence and one power of God, and that one presence and power of God is coming through us to make us feel alive, to make us feel the light. And when we feel the light, it starts beaming from us. And that is a neat step to feel and know. And sometimes we don't even recognize it, or we feel it for a second, and then we go on doing whatever it is we need to do, instead of stopping and pausing in that light. That aha moment sometimes is so vibratory in the energy that it brings forth that it can actually be a catalyst for us to move in the direction we need to go. Have you ever been stuck in something and you couldn't decide what to do, or you can't decide what the solution is? And you take that moment of just prayer and say, okay, God, help me. Or, oh, I just need to sit here for a minute and just let it go. And then all of a sudden you have that aha moment. And it becomes better and bigger than you ever had thought of before. Have you had that? I hope so. It's important to have those moments, but we have to bask in those and allow them to come out even more from within out. We don't need material things to make material things. The best things in life are not things. And that's true. We don't need to have something in order to make something. And I think that, like for me, I struggle with this sometimes because, and I'm working on it, because don't we want things to happen a certain way at a certain time? I know a lot of unity people, and a lot of unity people are people who are maybe a little more on the controlling side, or maybe they have a set mind of how they want things to be, and they're working on trying to be more spiritual, more in the moment. And that's what it's about, and that's what I have to work on too. I mean, sometimes I want something to happen when I want it to happen. Now, I'm telling you, we announced about the adoption today, the adoption date that we have, but I'm telling you what, that has been a real struggle for me. I've been wanting that date to come, and I've been bugging everybody and their dog about when are we going to find out when the date is. And Reverend Warren's been really good about saying, they'll let us know, I'll say, send them another email, text them another text. Somebody's got to know what's going on. And yes, there have been these little weird glitches along the way that so-and-so didn't communicate with somebody else, and they thought that we didn't have the paperwork in, and we had to go. I mean, 3 times I've been fingerprinted, and I never once spent a night in jail. But I had to take a breath and say, the last time I was like, okay, yeah, I hope this is the last time I have to get fingerprinted to know that I am who I am. But anyway, but we get in that pattern where we want to force something, where we want to make it happen for us, where we don't care what is going on all around us. But the end goal is going to be good. Why don't we just sit back and wait for it? And take a breath and go, it's going to be okay. It's good. We don't, though, do we? So we have to work on that. We have to realize that we don't need to force the calendar. We don't need to put something material in to make something good happen. That the good is here all the time. And enjoy those moments. And now looking back on it, now I have a date, I have all these good moments that I have had with these boys that just amplify the idea that coming to that perfect moment in the perfect time is perfect and good. Do you see what I'm saying? And we have to go there. We have to have that faith in God is what it is. It really is the idea of faith. And that's what that first step is about, is having that knowing, that awareness that no matter what, the good is going to surface. God is here. That one presence and one power is moving in and through me. Now, if we can say that we have faith no matter what is happening, we have manifested the light. We might know the light. We might know the aha moment. We might say we have faith, but only when we know and know and know. That's when we manifest the light. Don't you love that gif? It goes, woo, with the light. But it's true. That's when we begin manifesting. In the creative process, we're in the void. We get the light. We have faith. The minute we activate that faith with the light, we start creating. We start creating out of nothing. It's a cool process. It's really a cool thing to be in that state of mind. And if you have established that light in your life, then you began to demonstrate. And that's what leads us to the next step, which is a firmament. Firmament must be established. That is a firm place in the mind, a dividing of the true from the apparent. Goes back to faith. You know, we can think something is so, can't we? And we can convince ourselves that it is so. Oh, this is the truth. Capital small t truth. This is the truth. This is really the way it should be. And we could be the first ones on the bandwagon to convince everybody this is the way it's supposed to be. But that is not where we need to be. We need to be in that place of capital T truth, where nothing that is going on is going to make us waver. You're going to have that unlimited faith, that idea that I am the light of God. I can accomplish everything I need to accomplish. Everything that I need is going to come forth. I don't have to take a flower and say I have a flower. I already have the flower. I have the flower within me. I can manifest this in in my life all the time. And that's one of the ways we can do that too is by using affirmations. You know, a lot of people, you know, will have a few affirmations that they use. But if you have an arsenal of affirmations, pretty soon your thoughts are not going to go to thoughts of lack. Pretty soon your thoughts are not going to be negative. Pretty soon you're going to be popping out those statements left and right. You want to be around some of the old Unity teachers. Man, they used to be able to just pop them out at you left and right. You know, I am a child of God. I am deserving of good in my life. All those things that we say here are things that have been affirmed. That's the power of silent unity. The words, the prayers that they say have been used for so long. And the minute you speak it, it's like that light shining, this thing happening, that light manifesting. And that's why we have to stay in that affirming area in our life where we're bringing forth the truth. The minute we say, I am the light of God, that light should be turning on. Can you feel it? Okay, so we have to know the truth from what we think is the truth. The truth, capital T. And then step 3 says, let the dry land appear. There's the campus. Yeah. And what does that mean metaphysically? Well, once we have established that light in our minds, then we start building a foundation. And you know, we found the light when we found that property. And it's a strong foundation. I mean, the hydro study said the water was going to run good. The ground was great. There's no rock in there that we have to cut through, although we live in Rockdale County where a lot of the ground is solid granite. Yeah, we have this beautiful, rich soil out there. It's going to build a great building on. We have a strong foundation. Let the dry land appear. We also have some water on there, which is kind of nice because it's in the right place at the right time. But the dry land is us establishing in our minds that divine mind is working in our life. Now, how many times have we all wanted a building out there? And how many times have we tried to force to get a building out there? And let me tell you, every person that walks in this building that says they want to look at the building to see about buying it, I've been trying to force something. You know, come on, yeah, you needed this building. Oh yeah, it'll be great for whatever it is you want it for. I don't care what they put in here. Put something wonderful. Let's do this. But you know what? The right and perfect person is going to come walking in at the right and perfect time. And we are going to be so abundantly blessed. And all these things that are falling into place, we don't even know. Warren was probably going to talk about this later, but he was at a chaplain meeting for Rockdale County Hospital, and another guy was talking about wanting to sell their church, and you know, all these things were like, we were talking about these different churches here in Conyers, and I said, that's a good sign. That's a sign that something could be moving in the right direction for us too. And you guys all talking about it at that level, that spiritual level, because they have been in prayer and stuff, and you know that it's bringing forth more energy. And on this ground is going to be the most holiest place ever. The tricky part is we have to use the power of imagination. And that's where we sometimes fall short. Because we go to small M mind, not big M mind. Don't we? Yes. We have this, I have a notebook, I swear, this thick in there, that is full of all your ideas. All the stuff we had on the walls, all the ideas, everything that we have done on flip charts, everything. We have all these ideas from the small M mind. But now it's time to allow the big M mind to work. And the only way we can do that is if we let the light shine through us and have the faith that we know it's going to come forth. Do you have that kind of faith?
Yeah.
Yeah, can I have an amen?
Amen.
Amen. So we have to move forth. And we need to remind ourselves that this is a process, a creative law, with steps that can guarantee success in demonstrating all we desire. 7 simple steps. 7 little steps. But we have to follow the process. And we've all seen the results when we haven't followed it. You know, we have all visualized for something too. We know this. We visualize for something. Maybe it's that new car. Maybe it's the parking space. Maybe it's that new outfit that you really want to look hot at that next event you're going to. Anybody ever visualize that and then find the perfect thing? Yeah. But those are all things, aren't they? It's a whole lot different to visualize what we want, a building, all the ideas we have, everything to make it be that. But it's another thing to go back to that power of imagination and allow God to bring forth all that we need. Because if we could take all of our ideas and we could see them as God ideas, I'm telling you what, it's going to blow our minds. Like this. Right?
Yes.
And we have to hold that through faith. We have to hold that through the power of imagination, activating the 12 powers in our own life to bring forth what we need. And if we follow the law, we're going to have the kingdom of heaven right here on earth, right here at Unity East of Atlanta on that new campus, being the best we can be. So Fillmore reminds us, that all we need to do is follow an example of Jesus. And believe this because this is the power of order. And Jesus used it to feed the multitude. And I say feed the multitude. Some people say feed the 5,000, feed the 4,000. There's actually 4 Bible stories that have different numbers and different people and how they did it, but basically the same story. You saw that cartoon on Facebook this week. It was Jesus talking to his disciples. Said, "You guys got to pay attention. I don't want this story to be told 4 different ways." Guess what happened? So anyway, Fillmore wrote that Jesus followed the law of order. Jesus had the people sit down in groups. So he's having them have order in their lives. Jesus recognized the seed of ideas symbolized by the loaves and fishes. And Jesus gave thanks and blessed the unlimited supply of all there was. That's what we are starting to do with this vision prayer after service. We are giving thanks for all there is, and we're holding that vision for all of us. And we're seeing it, lifting the consciousness of even the people beyond this church, this room. And then he manifested enough for everyone. That's when it just starts happening. Because Jesus had enough faith that he had enough food to feed everybody. And he did. It manifested right there in front of our eyes. We have enough faith, and we have the power of imagination activated, and we know the light of God is shining through us. It's going to start manifesting. That building's going to get built whether we do one thing or not. Because what's going to happen is it's going to come forth. And the demonstration was that everyone was full and there was some left over, wasn't there? That's where we want to be. We all want to be full and have some left over. Have some left over to share. Have some left over to just celebrate. Just keep that process going. That law of order going. And it'll be huge. It'll be huge in our lives. And every increase that we have in our life follows these steps, those 7 steps. It follows those steps that bring us to that next level. Whatever divine idea pops in our head, we bring it through this process and we find our highest good coming forth. We find ourselves celebrating so much good in our lives that we wake up in the morning ready to go. We're no longer tired or lethargic or feeling an ache or pain. No, because we know that our day is going to be filled with so much good, and we are going to feel the good and know the good. And I'll tell you what, who wants to be around the people that are that excited? Yeah, I do. And that's how we grow, and that's how we are when we are actually living from that truth. I want to be at the party all the time, don't you? And then when I go home and go to bed, I'm going to have a good night's sleep. I'm going to feel rested. I'm going to be ready to party again the next day. And that could just be in that mode of affirming light and life and truth and the faith of God. And we feel it and know it, and it's going to be so crazy good. So crazy good. So we're on the fourth step, which is finding that understanding and will. Understanding that we know. This is what I'm talking about. When we feel the crazy good, then we have that understanding from within. And guess what? There's not going to be any doubt in your body at all about God's good coming forth for you. You are not going to listen to any diagnosis. You're not going to listen to any family member saying, "Oh yeah, I had that 3 years ago and I had to have 4 surgeries and 5, whatever, blah, blah, blah." You're not going to go to that place. You're going to be sitting there going, "Oh, I behold the light. I behold the Christ in you. I feel it. anything that happens, you're not going to be affected. It's going to be like bouncing off. What is that? I'm rubber, you're glue. No. Anything you say bounce off me and sticks to you, you're not going to feel it. But you can hold that vision for somebody else. And here's what it said. The fourth step in creation is the development of the two great lights. The understanding, which is represented by the sun, that spiritual I am. That's where affirmations come in. Anything you say after I am is what? The truth. So don't say I am what? Stupid or any of those things. No, say I am. I'm crossing that out. I am intelligent. I am smart. I am all the knowledge that God has in the world. And it's represented by the moon, which is the will or the intellect. And yeah, we have to have some will to stay balanced on this earth. But we also have to remember that our will becomes one with God the minute we claim the one power, one presence. When you say, I am divine order, I am intelligent, you are claiming the one presence and power of God. So you are bringing forth God's will, which is perfect in alignment with your will, and all the good will happen. Do you understand that?
Yes.
And then, this is what the Bible said. Then God said, let there be lights in the dome of the sky to separate day from night. Every time you look up at the sky at night, remind yourself of that. The light is present all day, all night. Is it present within you all day, all night? Because that's what's important. Are we bringing forth that expression of God through that light within us? It's huge. And we enter into this in that establishing all that there is, which takes us to wisdom and discernment, making choices for the highest good. Sometimes we don't make the right choice. That's the human factor in our beingness. But if we are in this state of mind where we have followed these steps so far, the only direction we will go is to make choices that are for our highest good and everybody around us. You can't make a bad decision if you've already followed those other steps. Now, if you've been sitting around nay-naying or being negative or thinking the end of the world's here or thinking you can't take another breath because, you're just, woe is me, then guess what? You're not going to make the highest good decisions. You're going to make bad choices. And you're going to keep going down that path because you haven't followed the steps. You haven't got yourself aligned in truth. And that's where you have to go back and say, okay, this is just a void. If I'm in that nay-nay place, that's just a void. I'm going back to the light and start over. And you'll find yourself correcting all that there is. The minute you start saying affirmations, you're going to correct yourself. From Genesis 1:20-23, and God said, let the water bring forth swarms of living creatures, and let the birds fly above the earth across the dome of the sky. So God created the great sea monsters and every living creature that moves of every kind, with which water swarm, and every winged bird of every kind. Don't you love that water flowing? Yes, I love that. Well, so what does this mean? And metaphysically, we're going to look at it metaphysically. It means creatures or thoughts originating in divine mind. So, capital M, mind. And birds are ideas or divine ideas. Sea monsters are the body working through us, or in other words, us in expression. Again, we're following that order, aren't we? And then, by putting this all together, we see the idea of mind, idea, expression, which is the law of mind action. So the law of mind action falls into this whole plan, along with the law of order, and we see ourselves working through that. Mind, idea, expression. What we hold in mind produces after their kind. That's right. And we here at Unity East have been going through this process. I said that. We've been going through this process, believe it or not. We've been in a void. We were looking for places. We saw the light, and we established our faith on a firm foundation because we all decided we wanted to see something different. We wanted to grow beyond these walls. We want to have a vibrant youth ed program and space for the youth ed program to be vibrant. We see that happening. That's going to be a key element in whether or not we survive or die. And I want to see us survive. I want to see us grow. But we've seen the light. We're building on that foundation. We have our faith. We know it's going to happen. Doesn't everybody believe that we're going to have a new campus? Yes. That's having faith in knowing. And we've allowed our imagination to put together the desires, the ideas, the plans. I think we're coming to an understanding of God's will for us because we know that the right person's going to walk in and buy this building. We know that whatever we need for this campus is going to happen. Every once in a while we doubt ourselves and think, oh, maybe a smaller building, maybe something else. But I want to see all our desires fulfilled. And guess who else wants to? God. Yeah, we do. So let's do it. Let's just make it happen. And then we are making choices for our highest good. We're not just allowing anybody. I mean, we could have had this place rented like 15 times, but that's not going to get us the money we need to more than 15 probably, but get what we need. So we made the choice for the highest good for all. Let's find and hold out and know that God's bringing forth all that we need. But I think the next step is the most important one that we're going to have to follow. And the biggest and most important one of all, which is love. Genesis 1:24-31, and God said, let the earth bring forth living creatures after their kind, cattle and creeping things and beasts of the earth after their kind. And it was so. That means dogs, cats, all those. And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness. And out of love we were created. Out of love is how we got here. Out of love is why all these creatures were created. God loved us so much and still loves us so much. And we are the expression of love on earth. So we have to start loving everyone all the time, no matter what. They cut you off in traffic, you got to love them up. Somebody in your family does something you don't like, love them up. And if you think that you have any doubt in your mind over anybody, love them up. The minute we all can love and send love to each and every person that we know, no matter what, even if it's somebody in government, wherever, I know I'm pushing some buttons, but I'm saying love them up because that is the catalyst for all good to come forth.
Right.
And that is how we're going to make this campus come forth. Fillmore's love for everyone and everything. I'm using that symbol again. Infinity love. That's what we need. Infinity love. Can you do that? And it begins with ourselves. We have to have infinity love for ourselves. Then infinity love for everyone. Can we do it?
Yes.
Can you go out this week and love everyone?
Right. Yes.
I hope so. I hope so, because it's powerful and it can change the energy instantly. Fillmore reminds us to affirm. I refuse to be anxious about tomorrow or even the next minute. I know that God does provide for the fulfillment of God's divine idea, and I am that idea. Let's read this together. I refuse to be anxious about tomorrow or even the next minute. I know that God does provide for the fulfillment of God's divine idea, and I am that divine idea. And let's say, I am love. I am love. Yes. And when we are working through this process and we believe this and we affirm it for ourselves and we accept that truth and we follow that creative process and we see that our life is creating all this good in our lives, guess what? We will be here expressing heaven right here on earth, and we will know that we are living in heaven on earth. And this is when we will rise from the void, we will be creating from nothing, and we will be able to enjoy our beautiful new campus. Thank you for being here today. God bless you. I like that. You like that picture of the new campus? That's a little clip I found that kind of looks kind of cool, doesn't it? All right, so our special music today, I brought another Danny Goki. Did I spell that right? Goki. No, I don't know. Yeah.